PlayStation Drive is starting. While you wait, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon on YouTube to be notified of future goodness. If you enjoy our show, we'd love it if you gave us a 5-star review or rating on your podcast service of choice. To continue the conversation, join the Carpool Gaming Discord, where you can find a wholesome community to have a chit-chat with. For some exclusive content, you can also support us on Patreon. And finally, don't forget to check out the Carpool Gaming website for an awesome range of merch. Links to all that and more are in the show notes, but without further ado, let's get revved up for the PlayStation Drive. Whoa!
Greetings, fellow travelers. Welcome. Wait, no, that's the wrong show. What's up, everyone? Welcome on in to the PlayStation Drive episode 144. Only 6 more episodes, by the way, so before episode 150. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan, and of course, I'm joined, as always, by Fulia, Matt, and Ron. How's everyone doing today? Of course, I did a little bit of the RPG Cave intro because I'm wearing the RPG Cave shirt, but also we're talking RPGs tonight, so I had to do it a little bit.
That's all good. Yeah, doing well.
It works because we're...
Yeah.
Yep. Everyone's gearing up for the eclipse, I can tell, as well. That's happening. The whole world is very excited about this, and I'm just like, it's going to be really cloudy on Monday here, and I don't even know if I want to even go outside for this, because that's just so much work. It's so much work. But, yeah. Anyways, this is the PlayStation Drive where we talk about PlayStation all the time and not solar eclipses, so we gotta move on to the housekeeping. So we got new patrons over at patreon.com/carpoolgaming. Of course, we want to welcome on in Shy Guy for upgrading to that exclusive tier. Enjoy that exclusive content, Shy Guy. Tim Paullin for joining the Platinum producer. Of course, the Platinum tier being the official tier of the PlayStation Drive because it's got Platinum in the name. It just makes perfect sense. Toxic, who I knew was really new to the community, hopped on in there as a gold member, so shout out to Toxic for joining the gold tier. You know, there are gold trophies, so technically that's also kind of another PlayStation Drive one. Yeah, it counts. It counts. And then of course our newest patron, Patrice Mellette. I hope I said that correctly. Who joined the exclusive tier free trial. Of course, there is a 7-day free trial available if you're interested in checking out the exclusive tier and seeing all the content we've got up there on the Patreon. So shout out to Patrice for hopping on there on the old Patreon. Of course, patreon.com, we've got all kinds of cool stuff there, including the Pants Patreon podcast for patrons podcast, as well as a whole bunch of awesome stuff. So if you want to learn more, head on over to patreon.com/carpoolgaming and choose the tier that's right for you. Well, without further ado, let's grab our 8 tracks, pop them in. It's time for the playlist, and let's talk about the games, or I guess other things we did this week. Looking at the things, I'm going to, of course, as always, start with Ron. What'd you play, man?
Started Dannohh. A nice, just a cozy, chill game. It was just a real surprise on that one. It was recommended by somebody from another Discord. I got it on the cheap. Put it on the wheel, kind of had forgot about it until it came up. It's just a really good game. It's just, you can just relax. It's one of those games that tells a story without words pretty much, but it was just nice to have a game that didn't wreck your brain with puzzles. It's just, the map was pretty good, showed you the important stuff to get to the next area. It was just a good, solid, nice, chill game. I enjoyed the ending. No complaints about it. That was pretty good. Got the platinum on that one and then moved on to Coffee Talk. Still very early in that, but I am entertained by that one. I've chuckled quite a few times from the conversation, so I think that's going to be another good one. So I'm kind of on a roll with the good games lately.
Nice. Yeah, I'm glad the wheel actually picked that one for you. I know a lot of people I've talked to who like Coffee Talk
Matt
have mentioned that. But Matt, you have a question.
Ron, question, friend.
Yes.
I need to know. We all need to know. Who have you been romancing in Coffee Talk?
I'm not sure there's any waifus in Coffee Talk, at least not yet. We'll see. Several people have come into the coffee shop, but I have not been presented with any chances to romance anybody. But I will keep you posted. Respectfully, of course.
Of course.
Got to put that out there.
Yeah. I mean, there's still time. There's still time for this to turn around a little bit. But
Yeah,
I know people
very
love
early.
Coffee Talk. I see Seth, of course, already in there, being very excited about
Oh, okay.
Coffee
Seth
Talk.
sit there and just shot you down, man. There's no romance. Sorry.
Yeah.
Seth, I don't think you know my man Ron. He can romance anybody. So putting it out there. Most people can't romance a coffee talk, but Ron, he can.
Dude, those eyebrows.
You know what's
Oh
up.
my god.
Audio listeners, you really need to be on the YouTube.
Yeah, I
You
was
need to
going
watch
to
on
say,
YouTube.
some of these things we just can't convey through
Oh
audio.
my lord. Matt, you tripping tonight.
We're starting off like this tonight, friends.
Excellent. Also, I see you also have other things on your list, Ron.
Yeah, I started up an anime solo leveling. 6 episodes in on that. Really enjoying that. Hadn't really heard anybody talking about it, but it was like most watched on Crunchyroll when I was browsing through, and I was like, you know what, I'll give it a chance. And yeah, I was pretty much locked in after that first episode. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna stick with this one. I think there's only like 6 episodes left, but yeah, so far so good on that.
Nice. Well, I know you weren't the only one who watched a TV show this week, because we're going to go to Matt next. What'd you play / watch, I guess, is what I should start asking from now on. Now that Fulia set the trend last week when we talking about Poro, of course.
To follow the trend. I played a little bit of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth earlier in the week. I believe I'm at chapter 6, so I'm on the Costa del Sol Island. But right before I did wrap that up, I did finish everything in chapter 5 and 4, and I did do another summon battle at full might. Didn't exploit the weaknesses, so it did take me an hour. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the challenge. I want to get good, but it was mentally exhausting, and I think after that kind of experience, I just needed to turn my brain off. And at that time, it didn't find a game that would just. I didn't have a game where I could just sit back and just do nothing like Power Wash Simulator, but I was quite on the high of Star Wars. I think we were talking about it in the Discord. People were yelling at me for liking Obi-Wan, so it was on my mind. So I watched Andor a few weeks ago. Really enjoyed it, and then I wanted to check out Ahsoka, and it just consumed me this whole week. So instead of playing video games, I just binge watched Ahsoka and loved it. So good. Just give me the lightsaber battles. Give me the pew pew pew, because I was all about it.
Nice. Ron has a question from the rest pool.
Matt, friend, tell me that you enjoyed Ahsoka much more than Obi-Wan, please.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Oh,
Obi-Wan, and I'm not going to spoilers.
disgusting.
No, not disgusting. Not disgusting. Obi-Wan, just feed my nostalgia. Just give it to me. Prequel nostalgia. I
goodness
love
gracious.
it. Give it to me. Give me all of it.
I'm so appalled.
Both are still good. They're both good. Stop it, Ron. Stop. Ewan McGregor, Hayden Christensen. Like, come on.
I mean, hey, the Vader parts are the best parts of Obi-Wan. Outside of that, Obi-Wan doesn't exist.
No. Obi-Wan, Leia, come on. You didn't like, I mean.
No,
she
Kid
got-
Leia sucks. That's okay. Multi-pass.
Wow.
It was,
okay.
it was to present a good story around there's a purpose
Yeah,
for it, I
well,
promise.
they failed at that.
So,
God.
yeah, I haven't played enough video games, but I'm done Ahsoka, so I'm fully back into Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It looks like the island is quite chill. Looks like there's a lot of mini games. They might be relaxing. They might be rage-inducing. I don't know yet. We shall see.
Okay, nice. Now, I'm going to break the fourth wall for a second here. We're going to actually stop the podcast for a second. Matt, do you still have your local recording going?
I do.
Can you please stop it?
Yes.
Okay. I sent a thing in our little private chat. For folks that don't know, we have a little private chat for stuff like this. Cool. Can you give me a quick mic check since you've turned it off?
All done. I turned it off.
Okay, cool. So we're gonna pick up from here. Apologies to everyone out there. Matt had a bit of a robot voice, but we fixed it, so everything should be good now.
Oh, God.
But we're gonna pick up from here. So in 3, 2, 1. Very nice, Matt. So Fulia, tell me what you played this week.
So I didn't really get much time to play anything this week. So I did at the start of the week get Alba, A Wildlife Adventure. So I played that again, but this time on the PlayStation, because I thought, why not do it for the trophies? But then I got very disappointed by the end of it to find out that there's no platinum for this thing. So I was like, why?
Disappointing, yeah.
So
Being
disappointed.
Right.
But like, it's a cute game. It's very cozy. The only thing I will say is on the PlayStation version, even though I had a better experience, there were still some glitches. It did freeze a few times throughout my playthrough, which I wasn't very happy about because it meant that I couldn't do anything. So I was just sitting there waiting for the game to fix itself so that I can continue playing. So, like, although the playthrough experience was better for me on the PlayStation compared to, although I will say I was streaming the PC version, so it's probably why I had a worse time on PC. If I played it again on PC without streaming, I think it'd be fine. But on PlayStation, there were moments where it would freeze and then it would try to fix itself and then you could keep going. So it kind of put a dampener on my experience on the PlayStation, even though it was better. But yeah, it's still a cute, cozy game, and it's almost like doing a Pokemon Snap sort of thing, where you're just going around and taking photos and of animals and filling up your little Critterpedia and all that sort of stuff. So yeah,
no
it's really good.
But no platinum.
No platinum. Yeah, that's the only disappointing thing about that.
That makes me want to take it off the wheel. Oh.
Look, it's worth playing through. It's got a cute little story to it.
It looks nice. I'm gonna stick with it. Just a little bit disappointed. That's all.
Yeah,
But the Platinum Queen was robbed once again. No platinum.
no platinum.
Which is rough. It sucks. That's almost as disappointing as being very excited earlier this year for the Tomb Raider trilogy coming to the PlayStation with 400 trophies, but no platinums.
What?
No
That's
platinum.
a slap in the face.
No.
The best part was there was a PlayStation 4 version of the games and the PlayStation 5 version. The PlayStation 5 version had no platinum, but the PlayStation 4 has a platinum for each game in the trilogy.
That's just ridiculous.
Why? Just why?
Makes
No.
no sense.
Why?
It makes no point. There's just no point to it. It's
No.
It's silly.
It's almost as crazy as being on Xbox and getting like 8 achievement points for an achievement. It's just like, it just breaks my brain. It makes me very sad.
Jesus.
Yeah.
But Fulia, there's another game that I'm very excited to hear you talk about. Ron, maybe not so much.
Don't worry, I'll be
I'm
back.
excited.
What, 5 minutes? Is that what the time y'all need?
You stay right there, Bear.
Yeah.
Yeah, stick with us. Come on.
Fool you, don't do this to me.
No, Ron, I'll make it easy for you. Are you ready? Watch this.
Where did he go?
Go ahead, Fulia.
So, I started playing Trials of Mana.
Yes, let's go, Fulia. Tell us about it.
I'm enjoying it so far. The story's actually really cool, and the playthrough, like the actual art style of it, is really cute. I kind of like the art style of it. I'm not that far into it, but I'm still enjoying what I've played through so far. The characters that I have chosen to main I've got Hawkeye,
Yeah.
I've got Charlotte, and I've got Reese, and they're pretty cool. Charlotte has because she's so childlike, the way that she speaks, it's like, please, it's like very cutesy sort of a talk where she doesn't pronounce her R's or her L's and instead replaces them with W's.
Yeah, and a lot of people, like, when the game came out, a lot of people were like really upset about that. Like, they did not like that her voice acting at all. Like, it was a whole thing. But
yeah, I mean, it's interesting, but you know, the gameplay style has been pretty good. I don't mind the battles at the moment. At the moment, it's more so just button mashing some of the buttons during the battles. But other than that, like, it's been pretty good. I've been enjoying it. I'm hoping to at least get through this game and say, hey, I completed a different RPG.
Yeah, for sure. Adding it to the bucket list. Of course, for folks that don't know, and by the way, I'm going to bring Ron back now that we finished talking about this. We of course talked about RPGs on the RPG Cave.
I was taking a damn nap. Don't do that.
I mean, actually, I love Seth's comment here. I hope Ron comes back with a sandwich. And
Except if I had left, I wouldn't have came back.
it also looked like we had a lot of hashtag bring Ron back in the chat as well. I couldn't ignore the chat, Ron.
Thank Mike. They do that all the time. They're just trying to get me off the show, brother.
Look, you said you wanted to get away for a couple minutes, so I helped you.
I could have easily muted and just took the headset off.
No. That's not how this works. But anyways, I'm very excited to hear more about Trials of Mana in the future, Fulia. I'm glad you're finally playing it because I think that's a great game.
Hold on. Question. You didn't mention Angela. Why is she not in your party?
Who?
The
naked chick from the gift that Cwaggy put up in the Discord. Is she
Excuse
not in your
me?
party? Yeah, Angela. Where is she not there?
No.
That's the one you were fussing about.
I said Reese.
Yeah, but how come Angela's not
And
there?
Hawkeye.
Boo.
Hawkeye's cool though. He's a cool thief.
Hawkeye. Look, I went with Hawkeye because I love MASH and Hawkeye is in MASH. So
Oh, boy.
that was my first instinct.
Wow. Not the same characters.
No, not the same character, but name-wise, I was biased, okay?
Also, Hawkeye's just cool, man.
He is.
Mean,
he's a thief.
He's a good character. And also, he's named after the best Avenger, Hawkeye. So it works out perfectly.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. There you go.
The thing
So
is,
many hot
though,
takes.
I will also mention, like, I do want to go
Yes,
back
Seth.
to
Yes,
Aiden
respectfully.
Chronicle Rising. Seth,
course.
please, don't encourage him.
I don't need encouragement. Seth saw for himself. He's a grown man.
We Bare Bears is a great show, by the way. I do want to go back to Aiden Chronicle Rising because 100 Heroes is coming out in like 2 weeks.
It is.
And I still haven't finished Rising.
There you go.
I need to go back and finish that. So I think my focus for the next week or two will be at least finishing the story of Rising so that I'm ready for 100 Heroes because I really want to play that when that
Yes,
comes
thank
out.
goodness.
Nice.
Play something good. Yes.
I was just going to say, who else is, because I'm also going to be playing 100 Heroes. Who else is going to be playing? Who else is interested in playing?
I mean, I kickstarted it, so I'm getting it anyway. I'm not going to play it day one, though, I'm sure.
Nice. Well, I mean,
On the wheel.
yeah, unless the wheel picks it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Matt, what about you? Are you at all interested in Iron Chronicles? It's an RPG. It looks cool.
Is it coming to Game Pass?
It is coming to Game Pass day one.
Oh, loophole. So then I might.
Yeah, you won't have to buy it, Matt.
Yeah.
Loophole. So I might. That is
Yeah.
my answer.
Excellent. Yeah, I know that because that's one like I could see us talking about on like a show together, doing like a nice discussion or something like that. Because I think we're all like at least somewhat excited about it. But,
Yeah.
When does it come out?
2 weeks. So the week of the
22nd or the 23rd?
yeah, it depends on because I think the people who kickstarted it and people who pre-order it have like a couple days early access to it, and then it comes to Game Pass I think at the end of the week. So.
I might not finish Rebirth by then, but I'll try my best. I think I'm getting
There's no
close.
might not.
I'm
Matt.
almost
You're
there.
not going to be done in 2 weeks with that.
Nice.
Don't even
almost there.
lie to the people. Don't even do it.
I'm almost there, guys. I can do
Okay.
it.
Yeah. See you in July.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2025.
You know, Iodine Chronicles is also cool, but it's like it comes out the same week as Fulia's game as well. Top Spin 2K25. So I mean,
Oh, no brainer.
tough.
Well, you know, my priorities are set already. So,
I know Anna K. She's right there.
Okay.
but is she?
She's not in it.
No, she's not.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you can
Character
make her
creator.
with the
I
character
don't know.
creator.
It's just not going to be the same.
Yeah.
She can make her better.
100
She can make her better.
Heroes. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. All right. Well, it's time for me. I got to talk about the games I played this week. So, honestly, my list is long of the games I played, but I didn't get to play a ton of them because the last 2 days I've hardly been able to play games because for video watchers, I'm flexing my index finger because I may have injured my index finger while playing too much Final Fantasy XIV this week, and it's bad. So it's feeling much better today. So, but I just have to make sure to keep moving it a bit. But I've been leveling, so I leveled up almost all the main jobs to max, but I haven't done any of the crafting jobs. So I was out there, power leveling all of my crafters, like my miners and gatherers and, my cooking skills and stuff like that. Because each one of them has their own class that you have to level. And man, I went a little too beat this week with it. So admittedly, I definitely had to, lay off the games at least a little bit this week, but I did have plenty of times to jump in some other games. So I'm still playing Legend of Dragoon. I finished disc 1 of 4. So I'm, making some progress.
4 discs?
4 discs. It's a PS1 game. It's
okay.
But yeah,
that makes sense.
That's how Japanese RPGs roll back then.
Yeah. In fact, a lot of people back then would like value how good an RPG would be based off how many discs it was. Like that's why people were like so hyped for Final Fantasy 9 or Final Fantasy 8 or Legend of Dragoon or a lot of these games on the PlayStation 1. It's like it's on 4 discs. It's got to be huge. I'm gonna get so much playtime out of this game. Although it's funny because a lot of the games that have 3 or 4 discs, the last disc is usually just the final like dungeon of the game with like the final boss encounter and stuff like that. Because it then houses the rest of the game in case you want to go back and do some other stuff. Like Final Fantasy 7 is famously like that, where you get to the final battle in Final Fantasy 7 and it asks you to insert disc 3 and it's literally just that's the only thing that's on it essentially, which is just weird to think about. So Legend of Dragoon, I'm still really enjoying replaying it again on the PlayStation 5. I love that it's got, a rewind feature if you want to use that, but it's also got, save states and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. I also played Rise of the Ronin this week. I checked this out a couple weeks ago, but I ended up just putting it down, cause I wasn't really super into it at the time. Revisited this week. And I enjoyed it a lot more giving it some time, to breathe a little bit. And, I'm enjoying it. It just feels like Sekiro mixed with Assassin's Creed in all the best ways. Where of course, you're playing this, samurai, although I'm very much, going all in on the stealth abilities. So I'm, kind of sneaking around and, surprising enemies. But, one of my favorite things about this system, which I think is really cool, is the parry system, because in this game, the way that it works is when an enemy is about to hit you, use the heavy attack to basically cross blades with them. And you have to do that with like each of their swings. And then if you do that with like their more powerful swing, it'll then knock them back and then you can take advantage of it. So I'm really enjoying kind of the refreshing take on that system, because in most games like this, the parry system is literally you press the block button at the time that, that their attack is about to land. So I like the fact that this feels more like a rhythm game where you really have to know the enemy's attack patterns, or it really gives you like motivation to learn them. So it's easier to parry them. So I think that element is super cool, and I definitely want to play more of this. But the last game I played is one I'm not going to be so positive on, even though, I like to be as positive as possible, as people know on the show, especially with demos. Because a demo, as I talked about on last week's episode about demos, the Forspoken demo was the perfect example of a game where the demo really turned me off from the game, but the game ended up actually being pretty fun. And maybe this is going to be the case with this one, but I played the SaGa Emerald Beyond demo this week, so you don't have to, because that demo put me to sleep. Literally put me to sleep. I was so bored. I was so bored with this demo, especially with it's so generic, especially with the story. Because you've got this main character. He's he's been told all of his life that it's his destiny to save the world. And he's like, it's my destiny. And he's like all excited about it. And he's doing these weird poses. And I'm just like, what is even happening right now? The combat itself is very standard, SaGa combat. You've got multiple party members and it's turn-based, but you can only use so many attacks in a turn based on this star system. You have 4 stars, and depending on the attacks you use, you don't have mana or anything like that. It just attacks either have 1, 2, or 3 stars that they take up. So you kind of have to balance that, because sometimes the earlier turns, you might only have 2 members of your party of 6 that can even attack. So you have to balance that a little bit. So I thought the combat was okay, but man, just the story and the visual design and just everything just felt so bland to me. So kind of sad. I'm kind of sad that it's not a game I was really digging, because this is one I was excited to check out the demo because I like some of the older SaGa games. Like I do think the series has definitely had its ups and downs. But I always get interested to try out some of these new RPGs from Square, from older franchises that they're digging up, because some of them turned out to be really good, but this one did not get me excited. So maybe if this one actually comes to PlayStation Plus down the road, maybe I try it then. But man, this one stung a little. I just couldn't get into this one. Interestingly enough about this demo, though, depending on what platform you play it on, you get a different main character. So the PlayStation platform had the character that I talked about, who is, kind of annoying, kind of whiny, and, he's just all excited about his destiny. But on like the Switch, you play as this like magical girl who's like moonlighting as a high school student. And then on the PC version, you play as like a songstress, like a singer character. So it's interesting that they kind of like divvied things up that way, but weird with demos that you have to play on different consoles. And of course, Seth brings up Soul Calibur, Spawn on Xbox, Link on Switch. It's exactly that, but in demo form, essentially. So I'm curious to know if the experiences are any different. Also, shout out to Seth, by the way, who said, Ryan will be happy to know that I started 13 Sentinels. Thank God, Seth. Thank God that you're playing it. You say you're enjoying it. That game is so good. So there you go. Those are all the games I played this week, but we should swerve right into the topic of the week. So we, of course, are going to talk about our favorite role-playing games of all time. We were debating between a couple of different topics this week, but this one came up. We had a lot of RPG talk, actually, believe it or not. That's kind of popped up in our private channels, because all of us really like role-playing games now. Even Fulia, we proved that on RPG Cave this week, that Fulia even plays role-playing games now and is turning around into an RPG fan. So we're going to talk about our favorite role-playing games this week. Now, for full disclosure, we did this topic on RPG Cave a couple weeks ago. So while my other three co-hosts here will be talking about their favorite role-playing games of all time on whatever platform they choose, I limited my list to PlayStation to make the list completely different from that show. So if you want to hear like my, unabashed, 5 RPGs from any platform, go back and listen to that episode. I think it was just a couple weeks ago. But without further ado, we're going to kind of go around the horn, and everyone's going to give the one of their games at a time. And of course, as always, Ron, you're the first in the turn order because you're right below me. So that's on the video. So that we go clockwise around here in these parts. So Ron, I'm going to start with you. What is one of your favorite role-playing games of all time, then?
I'll start off with Witcher 3, Wild Hunt. I've talked about it before. The expansions, the main base game, all one full experience, and fantastic. I've talked about it enough. Everybody who's played Witcher 3 and is a fan, they already know what it is. So that's my GOAT RPG.
Nice. Also, fun fact: Garrett Bland's favorite role-playing game of all time is Witcher 3.
Yeah, I was quite shocked by that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why? Come on, stop.
Because he mentioned that he liked Xenoblade Chronicles 3. That's why.
Yeah.
How dare you, sir?
I'm gonna
wearing
put it
my
out there.
Xenobabe shirt. Come on.
Ron,
Come on.
sometimes it's okay for people to like bad role-playing games like Xenoblade Chronicles 3, okay?
It is. I'm just messing. Anybody who was offended, everybody's offended. You know how I am.
It's okay to be wrong sometimes.
Take that shirt off, Matt.
No,
Hey, what kind of show is this?
Jan32 is a fan of the shirt, so.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Jan32. And all the Xenobabes. Well, I guess I have to go next and defend Xenobabe, right? I have to defend my Xenobabe. So yes, I'm going to jump right into it.
You can try.
I'm going to try. I will succeed, like a Jedi, like Ahsoka. So, Xenoblade Chronicles, the entire experience. One full experience. I'll stop there. I'm going to highlight Xenoblade Chronicles 2, just because I actually do like that one the most.
Worst one is what you're going to highlight?
No, the best one, because I played it. You haven't. You don't have to play it. So stop. Okay. Now, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, I don't recommend it to everybody, just because there are some hiccups with it. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like in handheld mode, it's like sub 500p. Like it's really rough. And navigation, like it is atrocious. Like it's like rage inducing in terms of like trying to figure out where you need to go.
In the story.
Outside of that, the story is, in my opinion, it's the best one out of the three. Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 3, they have their pros, but I think those stories they go off the rails, like typical JRPGs, like flies off the handles. Xenoblade Chronicle 2's, I feels like it's pretty straightforward with the story it's telling from the beginning, and it kind of sticks to that path. It doesn't go totally like 180 into like. Anyways, I don't want to go too far into spoiling the entire series. So I think the story is much better in that sense. The characters I think are more relatable. Music is S tier, and the combat's really, really good. It's kind of got like this Pokemon style where like you're kind of catching more blades, and it's got a really good system. But the story really is the best. Like I did talk to my fellow Xenobabe, Cwagmire, about it. He was surprised that I brought up connections to Nier Automata just because there was some philosophies about nihilism and just kind of like what's the purpose of life. And I was surprised that Xenoblade Chronicles 2 brought that up. So it's not perfect, and I don't recommend it to everybody as the first one to play just because yes, it's pretty rough in handheld. And if you have to be willing to use a guide sometimes to figure out where to go, but if you want the best story, really good combat, amazing music, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, shout out to it for sure, 100%.
Nice, nice. I mean, you know what? I'm glad that you enjoy it. You know, as much as I don't like that game, I'm happy that you like it, Matt.
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
I'm not mad.
Thank you. You're upset.
I'm disappointed in you, little brother.
Yeah.
Don't act surprised, Ron. Come on.
I'm not.
This isn't new.
Please, if Ron saw more of the art from Xenoblade Chronicles 2, he'd probably be more.
That's the only part that's good about it is the waifus. The rest of it, nah.
Ira?
Respectfully, of course, though.
Always.
Of course.
Always respectfully.
Of course.
Always.
Of course.
It's just like, get me out of here. This was a mistake.
Oh no, I loved it. I know Seth, it's his least favorite. And I get it because there are a lot of hiccups with it. Like I do recommend. Like I know Fulia, you start off with Xenoblade Chronicles 1. That's the last one I would start off with. I know Sean loves it. To me, it's the most dated one. Like I find it really hard to jump into, and that's why anybody that's new into the series, like I do suggest it's 3. It's the most accessible one. Like there's barely any flaws with it besides the story going off the rails sometimes. But otherwise, you can jump right in and you can figure out the combat very easily. There is a reason why the combat, like the tutorial, it kind of like stretches for a while. Ron for the press pool.
For all the audio listeners, I want everybody to know that Koala was so fed up with listening to the baloney coming from Matt about Xenoblade that she actually left. She took her headset off and she left.
Yeah.
No.
And I understood. I understood where she was coming from.
No. Excuse me.
I was just gonna say,
She's right.
you went and got something else. I think you got a physical. Actually.
Yes.
No,
My
show us,
headphones
Fulia.
don't
Show
reach
us.
that far. Okay?
I was just gonna say, Ron with the propaganda.
She
here.
was like, I'm tired of this trash. Let me take a break.
No,
Excuse me.
she got a Xenoblade physical. Show us what you got.
I mean, I do
can
have
do it for
the
you.
Definitive Edition physically, but that's not what I went to grab.
Yeah, take that, Matt.
I tried.
You know where that
tried
Xenoblade copy's at? In the trash. That's where it's at.
No, it's still on the shelf.
No. Good God. Oh, Matt, we got to give shout out to Yon32 here. Unrelated, just finished Resident Evil 3 on standard C rank. Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
My man.
He does
My
have
man.
good taste after all.
Stuff.
Yeah. Way to go, John.
He likes Xenoblades.
No
Of course
idea
he has
what
good
that
taste.
means. But cool.
Nope.
Well
That's the
done.
downfall. That's the downfall of him right there. Great guy, though.
Look,
Yes,
we all
a Xenoblade.
Resident Evil 3, great game. Shout out to Yon32 in the chat.
Good job, Jan. Good job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job, John.
But
All right, Fulia, tell us what's your one of your best RPGs? Tell us everybody.
Okay. So the one game that I really do want to shout out was the one that I actually played very recently, and that's Super Mario RPG.
Yes, excellent.
I really enjoyed the story of this game. It was so fun. The character style is so cute. Like, look at them all. They're all so chibi and adorable, and I just love it. I love the look of them in this particular game, and it was my first time playing Super Mario RPG ever, because I know that this is like a remastered version of it, but I've never played it in the original form, so this is my first foray into the series, and I had a lot of fun with it. The dialogue was hilarious. It was very entertaining. I was very impressed with all of the different, areas that you had to sort of traverse through, and it was cute. And I didn't mind the battle system either. It was really nice.
Nice. Ron from the press pool.
Yes, Ron.
Are you going to be playing Thousand Year Door?
I haven't pre-ordered it.
I think you should.
No.
I think you should. It's
watched
fantastic.
I've watched Antics play through it all, so I know the story. Mm-hmm. I may have forgotten it, but
that's fine.
You can still play it.
Exactly.
I'm not sure that I'm really invested in going out of my way to buy it.
No.
But it's the GOAT.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
It's one of the greatest.
Look, It's not an RPG, but I haven't even gotten Princess Peach Showtime.
Slide that to the side.
No, this is a PlayStation show. We should be encouraging more PlayStation purchases, Ron. What are we doing here?
Well, PlayStation doesn't really make its own RPGs. We gotta get her into the RPG fold somehow.
No,
That's
but
what we have to do.
They make RPG-esque games, okay?
They do.
It's fine.
They do.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Koala, thank you for saving the show. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes. Super Mario RPG is a fantastic game.
I don't like the fact that you're just assuming that my choice is going to be bad and it's going to ruin everything.
Yes, Ryan. What is your favorite RPG? Please.
Okay, my first one I want to throw in the hat here. By the way, we didn't talk about ahead of time how many of these we're going to do, so we're just going to do we're going to go around until we have no more left here. So
okay,
my first one might actually surprise some people because I don't get to talk about this one too often, but it's one that I very closely associate with PlayStation because it's one of my most played games from the PlayStation 3 era, because I played this game a lot. Like, we're talking hundreds of hours playing this game. And that game is Dragon's Crown from Vanillaware. Speaking of 13 Sentinels, I love Dragon's Crown. Of course, it's a side-scrolling beat-em-up game that's also a role-playing game at the same time. So think Golden Axe or Streets of Rage, but also a role-playing game. In fact, it's very loosely inspired by the Dungeons and Dragons arcade games that came out back in the day that were also role-playing game and beat-em-up hybrids. Dragon's Crown, I spent so much time online just going through leveling all the characters to max level, doing the impossible bosses on the hardest difficulty, going for the platinum. I love Dragon's Crown so much. It's also one of the reasons why I was so bummed out that we never got a sequel to Dragon's Crown at all. They actually talked about it publicly that originally their next game after Dragon's Crown was supposed to be a Dragon's Crown sequel, but then things got shifted around, and then that game actually got turned into 13 Sentinels, but also Unicorn Overlord as well, because we learned that game was originally supposed to be a PlayStation Vita game, because that's where they started development on it. Because it started development on Unicorn Overlord in 2016 after Dragon's Crown came out. So it's interesting to kind of hear about kind of the history going forward. But I love Dragon's Crown. It's one of my favorite games from the PlayStation 3 era, and honestly, one of my favorite role-playing games. That's the type of game too that I can just if I just need the video game equivalent of comfort food, I can just pick up and play Dragon's Crown anytime I want to and have a super fun time with it. So shout out to Dragon's Crown for being my first game on the list. Also, I'm going to go to Seth in the chat who says, shout out to 3D Dot Game Heroes. That's a really good one too. That's kind of like a 3D pixelized kind of Zelda game. Super cool game. And I'm kind of sad that they never did a re-release, because that game is stuck on the PlayStation 3 forever at this point. And it's a very expensive game if you want to pick it up physically. But Ron, what is your next game that you want to delight us with, man? First of all, did I live up to your expectations? Did I do okay?
Dragon's Crown, I can't fault you for that one. I didn't really dig that one, but I'm hard on beat 'em ups. The guy do a little something for me to really get into him, but that was not a bad pick. Not a bad pick at all.
Fair enough. I'm glad it didn't at least ruin the show. That's what makes me happy.
We still have more picks. We'll see. Let's not jump the gun. But my next was a Mass Effect 1. That's another one I've talked about just as much as The Witcher. That's the best one for me. I think Mass Effect 2 is outstanding as well, but I think 1 had the better story. Both are great games, but I could cheat and pull a Matt and say both are, one experience, but I'm not going to do that.
You can
No,
cheat.
because you could say the whole trilogy is one
No,
experience.
no. That Mass Effect 3 is.
I mean, it technically is if you just play the Legendary Edition.
I'm not going to count that.
See?
I played before the Legendary Edition came out.
One experience, Ron. You can.
No, man,
make me
I'm not
proud.
doing it. Mass Effect
Stop
1,
it, Matt.
that's it.
Stop.
That's right. Thank you, Koala. But like I said, I've said so much on that everybody pretty much knows. If you played Mass Effect 1 and you're a fan of it, then you know what it is about that one. So, yeah.
Nice, man. I'm so glad you said that because actually, like, you and I are similar on this because I also think Mass Effect 1 is my favorite of the trilogy. Like, I really like that game a lot. Especially Saren just sells it for me. Like, I love him as a
Saren's a great villain.
Yeah. And that's actually one that'd probably be on my list here if I wasn't making it PlayStation focused because I think that game is very solid. But,
Yeah.
Nice. Matt, what's your next game, man?
I'm gonna take this one before anybody else does. It's the thumbnail. Persona 5 Royal, baby. Like that was my first
Finally,
Persona
you pick
game.
a good game, my man.
I've always good games. Always. Always.
Always. I mean, he did. That's 2 for 2. So.
No,
Thank you, Ryan.
no, 1 for 2.
No. Persona 5 Royal, especially the Royal Edition, like it was my first Persona game, just like incredible music, so flashy with the art style. The story is really good, the characters, the romancing, all of it's really fun. And I think what was something that stood out to me was when I got to the ending, I guess, of the base game, I was actually pretty upset because I actually didn't like how the events turned out. And then when it kept going, because I did get the best ending by following like a non-spoiler guide to get to the royal part, I was like, this is way more meaningful, brought more motivation to what characters were doing. So I know, like, Ron, you only played the base game, right?
Yeah, man, I played it way before Royal was even announced. I wish I had waited, but yeah.
I know a few people who played the base edition, and I can't even imagine what that's like just because of how Ryan too.
I actually did both. I played both. And Fuya, we all did.
Yeah. Fuya too, right? You started it. Royal Edition, there it is. You can finish it. You can do it. But it's worth it.
She's not going to go back. She's
No,
not gonna
if you
go
start now, you can finish before Amanda.
We've tried.
Yes, you can finish before Amanda.
It's not the Royal Edition, it's just the base edition.
That's what I was saying. Yeah,
The base
you played
edition is
the
still
base
good too,
edition,
but if you have a choice, Royal, you might as well just go with Royal.
Yeah.
Royal adds so much in terms of character motivations. There's new characters to add, but in terms of like the main story, it adds so much to it. Like it's kind of shocking that the base edition that they released that one at launch, in my opinion, just because of how much it changes the main story, the Royal Edition, especially the true ending.
I mean, it's typical Atlas when you think about it when it comes to Persona games. I don't know why I played the base. I should have waited. That's my fault.
They kind of do that with all their games. We have Shin
Yeah.
Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance coming out this summer, which is like totally different and like sounds like it's a completely different game.
Yeah. So that was on me.
I know the length is intimidating though, and it was a bit hard for me to stick to it because
Phrasing.
I know what I said and I know what I meant. Okay, and that's what I wanted. My intentions, respectfully,
up.
of course. Respectfully. Now it is intimidating, but you know what? Stick to it. It is worth it. Just don't rush through it. Like obviously, it's tempting to hop off to go to the newest, latest, and greatest. But Persona 5, especially World Edition, like it is worth every moment. Like I never felt like when I was reflecting, because took me around. I think I did hit 100 hours, and I didn't even do all the side stuff. I was looking back at all the main stuff. Thank you, Seth. The length was intimidating. When I look back at Persona 5 World, and I'm trying to think, like, was there fluff to cut out so that maybe it was bloated? The answer is no. There really wasn't anything that I could think of where it's like, I didn't need this part in the high school stuff, the studying. Like, all of it was purposely done to build towards the characters and the story. So yes, it's a long game, but it's worth it. It doesn't feel like a slog at any point, in my opinion. But Ron from the press pool.
Matt, who was your waifu in Persona 5?
That was very hard for me to decide. before you say phrasing, that's what I meant, Ron. I went with Makoto. I went with Team Makoto, but I was distracted by I was distracted by a few other people. It was hard. I did not romance everybody. I knew better because I know what happens when you try to romance everybody. I know exactly what happens. So
I
I did
understand.
stick with Team Makoto. No regrets. But if I
Okay.
were to do a second playthrough, it probably would be what's the hacker girl? The one with the glasses. and the
Futaba,
red
she's
hair?
great, man. Yeah.
Futaba made me think twice about my choices in my first playthrough,
Yeah.
but I stuck
Futaba
through
was
it.
great.
Still Team Makoto. But yeah, my second choice would have been Futaba for sure.
So you're
100%.
still a Hifumi hater, I'm assuming. That was the one that played Shogun.
100%.
Shame
No,
on
the
you.
bully? The bully?
Hifumi,
The mean
Hifumi is
one?
great. Don't you do
No,
that.
she's mean. No, she's so mean to you.
She is kind of mean, Ron.
Sometimes mean girls can be
Yes.
great, man. Just saying.
No.
So hold on. Was that your waifu then, Ron?
It was. It was.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
Whereas,
like
of course-
feisty women. I can't help it.
Fair enough. Yeah, for me, with my base game playthrough, I went with
Seth.
Haru. I like Haru a lot. She's great. And then the royal playthrough, I went with Kasumi, the new character. I just really like her like backstory and stuff like that. So I'm like, yeah,
She
let's
was,
go.
yeah.
Go.
Kasumi
You
was
can't
pretty
really
good,
go
Ron.
wrong. There's so many good characters in that game. I mean,
Yeah.
you just can't go wrong.
That's true. Yeah, you can't go wrong. Fulia, don't you want to play now? Like, come
Well, I
on.
was gonna say who
All the
would be
romancing.
Fulia's waifu if she had to pick one. There you
She's
go.
like, I don't know.
I still think she'd go with. I think she'd be Team Makoto. I think she'd go with Makoto as well.
Maybe.
I can't see her going with Anne. Hifuma, no, definitely not.
Well, I don't know
Maybe
now.
Futaba?
Hifumi, she might. She might.
No, Fulia doesn't want to be bullied by somebody. Come on, like every time you play chess with her, she reminds you of how much you suck at the game. Like, nobody wants that in a date.
She can't
Come
help
on.
that she's an expert shogi player, Matt.
You only to make me feel bad that I don't know how to play shogi every time I play.
Seth is right. Yeah. Yeah. There we go.
Respectfully.
Mean girls are bitchy.
Yeah. Exactly. Thank you. Anyways.
Sometimes it can be good. Sometimes it can be good, Koala. Don't be like that.
Anyways, Ron.
Anyways,
Fulia, it's your turn. Go. Please save us.
Next RPG for you.
I feel like I need to be on the Nintendo drive for this because my next game that I'm gonna mention is Miitopia.
Let's go.
Miitopia is actually a really fun game. I wasn't expecting to have
I'm gonna have to look
that
this
much
up.
entertainment out of this one little me game where you make your own Miis and then you let them go through this, medieval adventure. It was so much fun. I streamed the game. And I got a lot of my community members made up their Miis and send them to me, and we played them together, and we played for it. Man, the moments that happen, the dialogues are hilarious. It was just so much fun. Antics was not only King Antics, he was also Princess Antics, and it was just so good.
I'm not
And
surprised.
it was
Antics is
hilarious.
wild.
He also created a Bidoof character so that he could be in the game as well. So we had Doof and the whole we all hail the Doof, and and he was a flower character in the game, and it was so much fun. And
Are we sure this is an RPG? This is not sounding like an RPG to me.
Oh, it's definitely an RPG.
it's RPG.
Hold on.
Yeah, you have to level up. You have to also make sure that your friendships level up as well with each character, so that then you can do like chain attacks and stuff like that. So it's an actual RPG, but it's just you create the characters yourself, or if you don't have the time or you can't be bothered, you can just use the default ones that are in the game anyway. So but
I hope that's going to be the last Nintendo game. We don't do that here.
Well, we'll
This
see.
is getting out of hand.
Nope. Sorry, Ron.
Yep.
Nope.
Sorry, Ron.
Not happening.
Oh God.
Look, we said favorite RPGs of all time, and we don't judge consoles when we.
Nothing came after the GameCube. I don't know where these extra games are coming from. I don't understand.
Stop it, Ron. Stop it.
I mean, to be fair, Ron, there's like no RPGs on the Wii or the N64, so. I mean, unless someone's gonna pop in here and say Quest 64 all of a sudden.
Oh God, please don't.
That's not on my list. That's not on my list. Don't worry.
That does not count.
Someone somewhere will say that Quest 64 is their favorite RPG of all time. That person exists. I know it. I can feel it. But that's a good
I
pick.
agree with you, Seth. Yes, there are not many RPGs with playable classes like Flower and Tank and Imp.
Yep.
And you get that in Miitopia.
Yeah. And Miitopia, of course, was based off like the 3DS game, like Street Pass game, essentially. Where with your Miis, where you have your Street Pass Miis where they're rescuing like the princess and stuff like that. So that's like it's based like it's a more expanded version of that, but in an actual game form, which is pretty cool. But anyways, my next one, this is where the old man Ryan starts to come into play, because I'm gonna get on my soapbox and start talking about PlayStation 1 games, because that's just who I am. That I don't apologize for that, because the first game I want to talk about here is a sequel to a game that, people loved this original game, but the sequel for this game is very divisive. But honestly, it's one of my favorite role-playing games on the PlayStation 1, and honestly, one of my favorite role-playing games of all time. And that game's Chrono Cross, the sequel to Chrono Trigger. Obviously, it's not like what you would normally expect from a sequel, because it's got a brand new cast of characters. It's not dealing with time, but it's dealing with parallel dimensions instead of time. But I love the characters in the story of Chrono Cross. I love the music and the visual design of Chrono Cross. Like, I remember it coming out, towards the end of the PlayStation 1 life cycle, and just, diving right into it and just, locking myself in my room and just playing nothing but Chrono Cross until the wee hours of the night, and just really, really enjoying Chrono Cross a lot. Which is too bad, because this was, of course, before I learned that everyone else, had mixed feelings about Chrono Cross, because it does, some things to the lore that, not everyone loves. And it is so different from just the original game. So different from the original Chrono Trigger, because instead of having a small cast of characters that you really get to know, you have a gigantic cast of characters, and it really reminds me of Suikoden in that way, where you have like 50 potential characters to add to your party, but you don't always recruit everyone, because there's a ton of optional characters to go out and recruit to your party. But I love all the little nods they do in the story to Chrono Trigger. And I really enjoy Chrono Cross a lot. It's also one of those games too that, similar to Dragon's Crown, where I feel like I can just pick it back up and I'm right back in that world, and I'm really enjoying it. So Chrono Cross makes my list. It's really good, and I'm really enjoying it. And also, shout out to Skycatcher Gaming, who is just like, this is the RPG Cave Weekend Edition. You're dang right. Again, I came equipped. The RPG Cave t-shirt, now available at carpoolgaming.com. But there you go. Seth, of course, says, and here I thought Ryan would shout out Jade Cocoon. That was never happening. I'm sorry.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I forgot about that one.
Jade Cocoon's a game that exists.
Yeah.
But I got more PS1 games. We'll get to those later, because it's Ron's turn next to hit us with another game.
Quick side note: that was a good pick, Ryan.
See?
Yeah.
I'm 2 for 2 so far. I'm not that bad.
Good pick. Chrono Cross is not a bad game, so not bad. My next one's gonna be Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic. It's the reason why I pretty much went out and got an Xbox. I love Star Wars. The story was really, really great. The swerve, I didn't see it coming. The characters were good. Come on, it's lightsabers, it's blasters, great story. It's in the Star Wars universe. It was BioWare in their prime. Couldn't go wrong with that. Enjoyed every minute of that game. Loved it.
Nice. So glad you put that on there, Ron. In fact, I'm a little sad, because now that I think about it, we don't have a version of that game on PlayStation. Like, they did the remaster for Switch, and it's backwards compatible on Xbox, but it's nowhere to be found.
They forgot about us.
Yeah, it's so weird to me that
there's the remake coming. Don't give out hope. There's a remake.
I don't know about that.
I was gonna say, like, Garrett and I placed bets on RPG Cave as to whether or not that game ever sees the light of day. Yeah. I personally don't know if it does.
It's bad when Sony was like, "Yeah, we don't have anything to do with this." It's like, that's not a good sign.
Yeah. Also, for RPG Cave listeners, that Knights of the Republic also made my top 5 games of all time list for role-playing games. So
yes.
I think we're both in agreement on that one. And although Seth says combat doesn't hold up well today, though, one could call it cheeks.
Oh, Wow, I haven't played it. I haven't played it in many moons, so I can't say for sure. But
It just really reminds me of the combat in Baldur's Gate 3. So, like, if you like it in those games, I don't see why you wouldn't like it there. But I know Sean had like the same comment as well because he played it a couple of years ago for the first time on stream, and he really couldn't get into it either. So,
that's a shame.
yeah, the story. Oh my god, it's so good.
You ain't lying.
Yeah. All right, Matt, hit me with another game, man.
I'm going to be shouting out my very first Bethesda game, which was Fallout 4. I love that game. I know people don't like it based on Ron's expression.
He was on a roll. He was on a roll, man.
I don't care. I don't care. That game is phenomenal. It is so dang good. Now, the base building, that is what Ron would call cheeks. It is. I don't need to do that. We don't want that. But outside of that, fantastic story, really good gameplay with the vault system. Apparently, the internet didn't like the new dialogue option where you couldn't see what exactly you would be saying. It would just be like kind of like a little hint of be a jerk or be passive or something like that. I actually preferred it that way because I didn't know what the character would say, so I would always pick be a jerk, and I would be laughing hysterically with what my character would say to people. People didn't like it, but you know what? It was worth it for the giggles, so I was all in for it. And it was my first experience with the Bethesda story, so I didn't know that you'd have to make a choice between the different factions. The choice, I did go with a pretty typical choice. I think I went with the Minutemen, and as soon as I did it, I regretted it because it was like my brain told me to, like, this is the right choice. But it's not who my heart was with. Like, I actually really connected with the Brotherhood of Steel, but for some reason my brain kept saying, like, this isn't right. And I decided to go with the Minutemen, and I felt like I got like a very vanilla ending. But it was just fantastic that they made me choose. Ron from press pool.
Now,
Question.
did you ever go back and play Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas?
I did play Fallout New Vegas. I enjoyed it. You know what, internet, if you want to get mad at me, Fallout New Vegas is dated, especially compared to Fallout 4. It does not hold up.
So you did think 4 was still better?
It is better. I don't think.
Oh.
I know it's better.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, internet.
Don't let fear hear you say that.
Yeah.
But
New Vegas,
honestly,
New Vegas
like,
is good. It's
but
just, it's
I
just
feel
dated.
like from someone who like is playing Fallout for the first time and starts with Fallout 4, I can see that logic because I feel like, you know, they did make some quality of life improvements with Fallout 4 that if you didn't play the other Fallout games ahead of time, it might be tougher to go back to them. So I understand it from that perspective. But also, you said don't let Fee hear that, but like Fee's favorite game of all time is Fallout 4. So
Yes, Fee. Fee knows what's up. Thank you.
Yeah.
Fallout 4. There's dozens of us. Dozens.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Also, fun fact, Matt, I went with the Brotherhood of Steel and I murdered all the Minutemen, and I was so happy with that ending.
This is no surprise.
See? That's where my heart was too, though. I did believe in their philosophy, but because I knew kind of where they were going, I was like, this isn't. My head kept saying I shouldn't do this. It's wrong. So I did go with the Minutemen, but I
But you
regretted
played
it
as a jerk
wholeheartedly.
the whole game, so was it wrong?
It was wrong. See what I mean? Like I played as a jerk, but my mind kept saying I shouldn't be a jerk. And
No,
so I went with the
it was
Minutemen.
wrong to stray from the path of being a jerk because you were a jerk the whole time.
100%. I don't want to go into spoilers, but there was something I did to the Brotherhood, and like it broke my heart. I was like, oh, I shouldn't have done this. There's just so many wrong choices, but just that's the best thing about Bethesda games, at least from my experience with playing Fallout 4, New Vegas, and Skyrim. Just they put you in just like there's no right or wrong. There's no
They all put
good
you
or
to
bad
sleep.
people.
Yes.
They do not put you to sleep, Raw. Okay.
Oh, God.
You get invested in the story. You make your characters for like I probably spent like 90 minutes making my character. I should
yes.
post a picture because I'm
The
quite
stories are so
proud
good.
of the character. I made.
So riveting.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
They are
stories.
riveting.
Oh yes.
They're
Well, question
Very
from
good.
the chat from Star Athena: what is the best Fallout game? I mean, Matt, you said 4, right? Obviously, your pick. So,
Number 4.
Ron,
Number 4.
what's the best Fallout game?
If I have no choice to pick, I'll say 3, but even that one's not great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fully, I don't think you played any of the Fallout games.
I
Right?
have not.
Don't
played any
koala.
Fallout.
Don't waste your time.
Start with Fallout 4. Start with
Yeah.
Fallout
Please
4.
don't. Bethesda's overrated. Please don't listen to them.
My
Oh,
my favorite Fallout game is actually Fallout 3. It's the one I spent the most time with, and I really enjoyed the story the most. And honestly, you mentioned it earlier, Matt, but I hated the base building instruction in Fallout 4. And when they made that, when I got to the point in the story where that became mandatory, I was just like, I was so checked out from Fallout 4 when that
It
happened.
was rough.
Yeah.
It was rough.
Yeah. If it was all optional, I might actually enjoy Fallout 4 more. But no, it's just when they made it mandatory, I'm like, no, I can't do this. Instead, I just took revenge because every time Preston Garvey said, there's a settlement that needs your help, I would then take the marker on the map that he would give me and go murder the entire settlement and then go back to him. He'd be like, another settlement needs your help. And then I would just go there and he would just keep feeding me new people to murder. It's great.
Preston Garvey, so naive.
Yeah. So naive. If only he knew. If only he knew. Oh, quick thing. Sidetracking once again before we go to Fulia. Speaking of Fallout, is anyone excited about the Fallout TV show? It's out in like a week and a half.
I'm so excited.
I'll wait to see. Amazon has kind of been a little hit and miss with me with some stuff. So, but the trailers have looked good, and it looks like Fallout. So it looks promising.
Yeah. I'm excited. I think it might actually be pretty good. But Fulia, you haven't played the Fallout games, but are you going to watch the Fallout show at all?
Probably not.
No. You're just going to be watching
Just so
Toro
matter of
instead,
factly,
aren't you?
probably not.
Just like when Halo the show came out, I don't play
you
Halo,
didn't miss anything
so
with
I
that.
wasn't really interested in watching the show. So.
I mean, you didn't really need to play Halo to watch the TV show because it had nothing to do with the games anyways.
He ain't lying.
Oh, wow.
So I've
He
heard.
ain't lying. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. Well, Fulia,
Yes.
now it's your turn. What's
Yes.
what's another RPG you would like to let us know about?
Okay, so this RPG, not only is it available on PlayStation, but I played it on the Switch only because at the time I didn't have a PlayStation to play it on, so I played it on the
That's
Switch.
a good excuse. That's
Okay. So, but I know for a fact that it is on PlayStation, and that's Fairy Tail.
Yeah, let's go.
One of my favorite animes. Absolutely adore the anime, so I had to go out of my way to play the actual game itself. Gajil's my man. I love him. He is amazing. He is my husbando out of this game, out of the characters.
Finally. Now somebody engages thirst mode, and it's not just
Look,
us.
honestly, like
Respectfully.
I've
At
got
least we say
Gajil
respectfully.
pops. Like honestly, he's hot. He's cool.
Yeah. You didn't even say respectfully. How dare you?
There's no respectfully here.
Oh,
Yep.
you pervert!
Wow.
Wow,
Because
And
I
talks,
know-
she talks about us. Wow,
You too, with your respectfully and everyone else being encouraged into it. I know for a fact it's not true.
ma'am, that's the suspicion.
We said
Wow.
respectfully. With respect.
Exactly, Matt. Exactly.
Of course.
Come on.
Please.
But Fairy Tail is a really great game. Like, it's a turn-based RPG. I really enjoyed it. The other thing that I really enjoyed about this game is the fact that it allows you to play as pretty much any of the characters. Like, all these characters are playable in the game. And you can create your parties and then you can switch them out as you do whenever you go back to the guild. And it's a fun time. Like not only that, part of the anime is what this game is. This game is based off a story from the anime. And I was like, I actually get to be part of this experience. So, that's kind of like one of the main reasons why I really enjoyed playing this game. Apart from the fact that it was the anime itself, it's just the fact that I got to be, experience the actual story firsthand. So it was actually really good. There are also, even though I finished the main storyline, there is still a lot of side quest content and extra content after the fact that you can go back and play, which I haven't really done much of. But I would love to go back to it when I get a chance. Yes, Ron.
So since you said that there's a PlayStation version, are you going to platinum this game?
No.
Oh my God.
You can do it.
Look, right
Wow.
now on the PlayStation Store, it is on sale at the moment, but right now, even on sale, it's still a bit much. It's $60 Australian at the moment when it's usually 100. So
So if it gets down cheaper, you will purchase and go for the platinum, is what you're saying, eh?
it really has to
Clean.
go down quite significantly for me to then go out of my way to buy it again. So
Hey, I'm just saying, you got to live up to the title, Platinum Queen. That's a heavy crown to wear. Just saying.
The disappointment on Ron's face when you said
I'm gonna just straight away just hand back the crown to you, your royal bareness.
No, he has to
I have
pass
my
you
own
first.
crown. I have my own crown. I don't need that one. It's fine.
Yeah. I actually, by the way, I actually have the platinum for that game because I really enjoyed it as well.
Oh, look at that. Okay.
Well, I'm also a fan of Fairy Tail, and I actually liked. I echo everything Fulia said. In fact, we had a conversation about it on our PG Cave this week. But I actually think it's like, honestly, one of the best licensed anime games I've ever played in my entire life. It's actually really good, especially if you like turn-based role-playing games, because it's made by the Atelier developers, and I think they knocked it out of the park with that game. So I actually think it's pretty good. So yeah, especially if you like Fairy Tail, it's like and turn-based role-playing games, it's like a slam dunk.
I haven't watched the Fairy Tail anime, so I don't know.
Okay.
Can't speak on it. I heard it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say though, it might be tougher to get into if you haven't seen the anime, because they don't do an amazing job of introducing everything to you. But if you've watched the anime at all, like, I think it's great. So there you go. Well, next on my list, referencing with a magnifying glass, my PlayStation 1 list of games here is a game that was released on an earlier console, but this is actually a remake of that game on the PlayStation 1. And that game is Lunar Eternal Blue Complete. Now, for RPG Cave listeners, Lunar the Silver Star is one of my favorite all-time role-playing games. It's on the Sega CD, but for its sequel, they made a lot of really important improvements to the sequel to actually make it much better. In fact, I like it much more than the remake of Lunar, the first game on the PlayStation 1. It's really solid. It's got a great cast of characters. It's got amazing cinematics for the PlayStation 1 because they did have this like awesome, these awesome anime cinematics to really help brighten up the story. They redid the entire soundtrack, the cast of characters, the combat, the turn-based combat is really solid in it. And I just really enjoy the first two Lunar games, but this one in particular just really shone on the PlayStation 1. In fact, I showed off the box on this show before, and that's one of my favorite packages on the PlayStation 1, because the only way you could buy it was in the collector's edition, which had like a big like full color manual, but it was like a hard book manual, as well as a bunch of awesome extras like a making of documentary and stuff like that for the localization. So Lunar Eternal Blue Complete had to make my list. It's one of my favorite role-playing games of all time, and one of the best turn-based role-playing games on the PlayStation 1. So giving it its shout out here. So there you go.
You're on a roll, Ryan. You're on a roll.
I haven't broken the show yet. Oh my God.
Yep. Hey, you're on a roll. Total props to you.
Yeah.
I have yet to impress the bear.
That's not true.
That's only, you know what?
Metopia is the only thing that kind of threw me for a loop. I don't know of it, though. I don't know of nothing of Metopia. That's the only thing that threw me for a loop, though.
To be fair,
Matt, on the other hand, he has disappointed me, but it's okay. I still love him just
Don't
the
be
same.
surprised.
I
Don't be
shouldn't.
surprised, Ron.
I shouldn't be. But you did bounce back with Persona. So
yeah.
wait
Honestly,
till my next one.
Ron, you might actually really enjoy Fairy Tail if you actually watch the anime, because I think the game itself is pretty good. But,
yeah, I'll add it to the list. I mean, hey, I'm all for watching good anime, so that's fine with me.
Nice. Now I don't know how many games we have left because we're 3 in so far. Does everyone have one or two more?
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, I got more than that.
The only
that.
ones
No,
I've got
Matt.
left are the ones that I haven't finished.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll kind of like quickly go around the horn then, and everyone can give kind of their last one or two then.
Okay.
So Ron, give me one or two games, your final, like your top two. I guess.
Okay, so since Matt took Persona 5, I'm going to go ahead and just sew it up with Trails of Cold Steel 3. But then I'm going to take the whole full experience. 1, 2, 4, and Reverie. All of them.
Ron,
So proud of you.
question from the principal here.
Yes.
Wouldn't the full experience technically be all of the Trails games
Yes, Ryan.
in one?
Yes, it would. But no, Cold Steel is his own arc. That's what we're going with. I don't want to sit there and overwhelm everybody with the whole Crossbell and In the Sky. I'm not doing that right now.
Look, Jason in the chat says, "Brother, I'm playing 2 right now."
Yeah. See, all the whole Trails series is all great, but Cold Steel, we're going to stick with that. Cold Steel 3 is my favorite out of all of them, but like I said, 1, 2, 4, Reverie, all of them, one full experience, outstanding RPGs.
One full experience. So proud of you, Ron.
One full experience.
Well, he forced me into it. He said I had to get 2 more in there. So there you go.
Hey,
I mean,
I threw
proud of
5.
it.
I threw
Now,
5
Be
out.
proud.
To be fair, I know Fulia, you were face palming a little bit, but like, this is one that I actually agree with Ron on, because you really can't play any of those games independently unless you played them all.
You got
That's
to go.
just how
you
that
got to start
works.
at Cold Steel 1 for sure. You can't just jump in at 2 or 3.
It almost feels like it's one gigantic game.
One full experience.
Yeah, Koala.
Okay, that one I suppose has an actual reason for it to
Yeah,
be.
I
one
didn't
full
pull a bat and
experience.
just threw 2 different games together. Mine actually made
Mine is-
sense.
Might make sense.
No,
Just wait till I talk
Automata
about-
and Replicant are not.
Actually, I think it's more egregious that The Last of Us 1 and 2 is one experience.
Thank you. They're totally different games.
Yeah. I mean,
Put them
even
together.
Jace chimes in with the chat. 1 and 2 are one game, technically. He's not wrong about that. That's technically true.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Go on, Matt. Go ahead.
I'm
Please
proud.
don't say near Automata. Please pick something else.
No. So yeah, since we're rounding it up, I'm not going to go into Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth and Nier Automata and Replicant just because I've talked about them on my Twitter video, and I did an
Thank
RPG
the
game
maker.
episode with
Thank the
Brian.
maker. Something new. Let's go.
So I'm going to give something new. I do want to highlight it, but it's also by Yoko Taro, and it is one experience.
God.
It is the Voice of Cards trilogy.
Yes.
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 Yes. So for those who don't know, it is from Yoko Taro, same creative director for Nier Automata and Nier Replicant. It's a tabletop. Well, it has the aesthetic of a tabletop card game, but it's really just a turn-based game with cards. It's fully narrated, and it has that beautiful music that you would get from Nier Automata. I think it's the same composer. They both have, all three of them have different stories. If you look, I mean, depending on how deep you want to go down a Reddit thread, you could probably try to find a connection between all three games, but they're pretty separate. I would recommend the second one, which is the Forsaken Maiden, just because that one jumps into the story right away, and kind of just doesn't stop at that point. Very simple gameplay mechanics. You have cards. You can try to build up combos. There's some RNG elements. Ron from the press book.
I just want to put out to all the listeners and the watchers, the reason why this is a good Yoko Taro game is because he didn't write the story. That's
not
the
true.
reason why.
That's not true.
Yeah, it is. If you look it up, he didn't have nothing to do with that story.
He's creative director. He told them what story to make. That's how
he
it
did.
works.
No, that story is too
That's
good
how it
for that to be
works.
Yoko Taro's story. Stop that.
No. So I would still recommend the same game, the second one, just because it kind of jumps right into it. The first game is more of a typical Yoko Taro game where it takes a really long time to build up to a bit of a twist. But I still recommend them, and they're pretty easy platinums. I think you just collect all the cards, and I think you should be fine. There's probably like one optional boss that the guide says it's hard, but you'll be fine. So if you like turn-based combat, if you like deep stories with beautiful music, check out Voice of Cards. It's usually on sale quite a bit. I don't know if it's come to PS Plus or game. I don't think it's on Xbox.
It
I can't
hasn't.
remember, but I don't think it's come to PS Plus yet. But it goes on sale quite a bit for all three. And while the third one's not my favorite, it's still worth it just to get at least the first two. Thank you, Skycatcher Gaming and Jace, Yoko Taro.
Yeah.
All the games. All the way.
I was just gonna say, for anyone who's new to picking those games, I would say that the trilogy is the best way to go. Like the trilogy pack, because it's like, it's usually always on. It's on sale a lot, like you said, and it's always usually cheaper than buying them individually. So you may as well get all three of them.
100%.
Yeah, good pick, Matt. Good pick. You kind of made up for all the others. This is good.
All good picks.
Well, I mean, you
Wrong.
might not be saying that when we get to some of the Quaggy's question there, Ron.
Oh God. Oh yeah, that question. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I'm going to ignore it.
But yeah, any other shout outs, Matt, before we move on?
That's about it. Ron talked about Witcher 3, Fulia talked about Super Mario RPG, so I'm glad those games got their highlights in today's episode for sure.
Nice. Well, Fulia, what other games? I know you haven't any like finished a lot of these ones, but like any other games you want to give shout outs to?
Yeah, I really want to give a shout out to Aiden Chronicle Rising, only because I've been playing through that quite a bit and I really enjoy it. I haven't finished it yet, but I am intending on finishing it before 100 Heroes comes out, as I said earlier, so I am looking forward to that. I also want to give a shout out to Trials of Mana, which I've been playing, and I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, Trials of Angela. Trials of Angela.
And to go away, Ron.
Excellent.
And then the last one I really want to sort of highlight that I really want to go back to, but I'm just being a big scaredy cat about, is Hogwarts Legacy. I really love the style of it, the fact that you can be your own wizard in this world of, you know, in the magical world, and I just need to get past those dang aggro mantulas. Like the freaking spiders just freak me out, and I hate it.
Coming into this, I didn't think Koala was going to have the better picks than Matt. This is just great. It's just great.
I lived a surprise, Ron. You're welcome.
You did.
And she had Trials of Mana in her list, and she was still better according to you.
Well, it makes up for it with Angela. That's fine.
Oh my gosh.
It's fine.
I need to look up Angela. I need to look this up.
I mean, Ron,
I'll show
Seth
you.
seems very disappointed in you. You know, no Dragon Quest or Ease.
Well, Dragon Quest is kind of whack to me, but Yeez though, yeah, I'm all for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dragon Quest is kind of a snooze fest to me. I've tried.
Yeah, I might agree with that. I shouldn't say that. Some Dragon Quest games are fun, but I don't.
I don't know. I've tried them. I've tried so many of them. It just something doesn't click for me with those. I don't know.
Nice. Well, as for me, honestly, the ones I've got left are all the most predictable Ryan Turford answers you could ever predict. So I'm not going to go into them deep because you've heard me talk about these on every podcast under the sun. I mean, obviously, Parasite Eve, one of my favorite PlayStation 1 games. It's a great survival horror game. One day, Matt will play it, and he will realize that it's actually a very good game, and he was missing out this entire time.
I thought he had it.
I do have it.
He has it. He hasn't played it yet, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. One of these days, though, we're going to have Matt
he's not
sit down
buying
and
new
play
games
that.
this year,
Yeah,
so he has no excuse not to play it.
Yeah.
Just gotta get that platinum and rebirth, and then it's Parasite Eve.
Okay.
I can do it. 2
Now,
weeks.
Ron, before I say this next one,
Uh-oh.
I mean the OG version, not the remake.
Okay.
Final Fantasy VII. That RPG changed my life in so many ways.
Yes.
I love that game. That game is awesome. It's still my favorite version of Final Fantasy VII. Honestly, is the OG on the PlayStation 1. Again, it's like video game comfort for me, food for me. Like I can go back and play it anytime. I have the platinum and the 1,000 gamer score on like the re-release version too, in addition to just pulling up my PlayStation 1 and just playing it. So
yeah, it's in my top 10. And then sometimes it's in my top 5. Yeah, Final Fantasy VII. Great pick, man.
Yep.
Great pick.
And then last one, you might respect this one too. Alpha Protocol, I got to give a shout out to as well. Yes, I love Alpha Protocol. It's, of course, the spy role-playing game from Obsidian. Now, the PlayStation 3 version is not the best version, but that's where I played it. I played it on the PlayStation 3.
I played it on the 360 and that one and the PC. I played it on them all.
Yeah. And then they did the re-release recently for on GOG. I'm so happy that game got preserved in some way, because God forbid we would never get like a re-release of it, because that would just make us too happy, Ron. So...
Koala, just saying, you could play that. She's looking like
what?
nope.
She's just like, I don't even know.
Alpha Protocol, Koala.
Yeah.
I'd be worthy of her denying it.
did you-
She's like, nope.
Her brain rebooted again. She went off to
Yeah.
space, visiting other
He's
universes.
not wrong.
No.
The game
No,
doesn't even differ server
Don't
response.
space travel during the show, Koala.
what
Good
she was
grief.
doing is she was staring at the Poro box set across the room, and she's just like, I could be just watching Poro right now.
Having dreams of Pepsi, man. Yeah.
Having dreams of Pepsi, man. Let's go.
I need you
All
to
of us are.
focus. I need you to focus.
I'm trying.
I also want to recognize Seth. I see you in the chat, and no. Just no.
What did Seth say? Oh boy,
I mean, it's no Final Fantasy X is what he said in response to Final Fantasy VII. So,
that's okay.
sometimes Seth can be wrong about games. It's okay.
Seth is my guy, but he's wrong on that one. I didn't hate Final Fantasy X, but it's not great.
Yep. There you go. Skycatcher Games, of course, having my back on Parasite Eve. But there you
You
go.
guys are killing me. You guys are killing me. I really need to play this game. Like,
You
it's-
really-
How long is it?
Not
it
long
short?
at all.
Garrett beat it in 8 hours, and I beat it in 6.
With a guide?
He played it with a guide. I played no guide.
could take a break from Rebirth and just like
Yes.
whip
Yes, you
through
could.
it like in a week or two.
Like
you
it's
could.
it's purposely designed to like be in like that same kind of playtime as like a normal survival horror role playing game, survival horror game. So yeah, you can play through it pretty quickly. But like,
it, man.
I only say this because like you of all people, Mr. Resident Evil would love that game.
You're really selling it hard on this. Foolish, you want to play together? Parasite Eve? You can buy it on
Did
PS3.
they just said something about it being horror and no?
No,
I
we
think
can do
he
it. There's no,
purposely did that just to troll. He knew
there's
you
no
were gonna play it.
spiders.
Actually, Matt,
Oh.
there might be.
Never mind.
I didn't want to say anything. That's why I kind of just.
I'm out.
I never said there was. I said there might be.
It's
We
all
can find
you,
out
Matt.
together.
Yeah, you can
Matt,
find
you
out
do
together.
better. You do
You
better.
play, I'll watch.
I actually think the mutated zombie rats might get her instead.
Oh, I gotta check out this game.
Matt, I would
Yes.
actually play it again if I had to pull the PS3 out. I would play it with you, but I don't feel like going through all that.
Really? You
No,
played
I mean,
again?
Look,
Is that good? Eh?
Parasite Eve was not cheeks. It was not cheeks. I'm not as fond of it as some other people, but it was not a bad game. It was
It's
not a
got
bad
the
game.
squeak
You know, I
boots,
don't really
though,
do
eh?
survival horror like that, and even I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I was gonna say Jace makes a good point in the chat. It's horror, but it's not scary.
Yeah,
And I would say like it's the same type of horror as Resident Evil is, where it's like it's not really like super scary, but it's horror. It's definitely in the horror genre.
All right. It's moving up. It's
Yeah.
moving up the back.
Let's
on, play
go.
it.
It's
Let's
going
go.
up.
Play
It's
it,
going
man.
up. It's going up high. I might take a break from Rebirth, especially like when I'm really exhausted from like mini game challenge or something. I could take a break and just
Yeah.
get scratch that survival horror itch. Really
Yeah.
selling
And
it
I
on.
will say that like Garrett, his feedback to me when he played it was he was very thankful that he played with a non-spoilery guide and like so I would say for like new people that are playing it for the first time, that's how I'd probably say like, you know, you might as well play it unless you really want to dive into have like the most authentic experience as possible and not play with a guide. But like playing with a guide, I think definitely helps.
if you do use a guide, please make sure it's spoiler free.
Yeah, 100%. There's some great story stuff.
I was gonna say good story too. Oh
Yeah.
wow.
It's
It
a
is.
it's a
Everything.
Square Enix role playing game. It's got a good story. So
Old Square Enix, not the
yeah,
new one.
old Square Enix, PS1 era Square Enix.
Yeah, remember that. Remember that.
Yeah. But anyways, y'all have heard our favorite role playing games. It's now time to hear your. For audio listeners, I'm pointing at the camera to indicate that your favorite role playing games of all time. Of course, Jace corrects me in the chat. By the way, Square Game, not Square
Squaresoft.
Enix. It is SquareSoft. I apologize for that. Anyways, let's go to Cowboy Danger D, who says definitely Final Fantasy IX, followed closely by Blue Dragon. Also, shout out to Final Fantasy 16 story being immaculate. I mean, is Final Fantasy 16 even a role playing game?
Yeah, I knew that was going to happen.
Oh, let's not do
Cowboy's
this
my
again.
guy, but he's got it wrong on that one. It's not an RPG. It's not.
It's on the bubble. It's on the bubble. of
It's
role
right
playing
there.
games.
But it's more of an RPG by name only. But hey, Yoshi P's my guy. He can do whatever he wants. It's fine.
Yeah, it's almost as much of an RPG as God of War Ragnarok is. In some way.
Oh, are you serious? Is it really that? Is it really
Look,
treading the line like that?
He's not
Oh,
lying.
wow.
Yeah.
He's not lying.
Oh wow.
I mean, it's more RPG-ified Devil May Cry. So, yeah. But I will allow it. We'll allow it because, you know, we love Yoshi P. You know, of course, Jace.
Cowboy's my
also-
guy, but Blue Dragon needs to come off of there.
What's wrong?
Oh, Blue
You know
Dragon.
what, Ron? People are allowed to like what they like.
I
okay?
know. It's his list. Me and Cowboy are cool. I can joke with him like that. He knows it's all love.
Yeah.
Justice for Blue Dragon. Don't worry. Justice for Blue Dragon.
Oh, no.
Maybe one day we'll get a PlayStation 5 version of Blue Dragon.
There's the reason why that game didn't sell well on the 360 in here. I don't even think the Japanese like that game.
I was gonna say that was another game where like people really got turned off by the demo. Like there was a demo that came out earlier
Yep, that demo was
before
not
the game
good.
came out for Blue Dragon. And, like a lot of people I know who played that demo were like, I'm good. But yeah. Next one we got Awesome Dave. Just chuckling already because I know it's coming. It may come to a surprise to some, but one of my favorite role-playing games of all time is Final Fantasy VIII.
What?
Yeah. Total
do-
shock.
I do also have to give a shout out to Skyrim as well. So there you go. But I mean, we all knew it was Final Fantasy VIII. Also, Sketcher Gaming coming in here in the chat saying Final Fantasy 16 is an RPG. That's interesting.
There we go.
Yeah, again, it's on the bubble. It's on the bubble of RPGs. And likewise, Seth saying it's of course Blue Dragons, no Lost Odyssey. You're dang right. I mean, not many role playing games on the Xbox 360 are Lost Odyssey.
Lost Odyssey was the better of that bunch, that's for sure.
Yeah, but shout out to Skyrim. I think Skyrim's actually a pretty good game. Pretty
Excellent
good
game.
Maybe better than some of those Fallout games. Who knows? Next up, we got Quaggy, who says, "What is your favorite RPG and why is it Xenoblade Chronicles 2?"
And why is he wrong?
He's
I have not
Xenobabe
played
MVP.
it, so I can't say.
He is right. I've already explained why it's the best one.
I was going to say, I forgot to read this question ahead of time, or I would have brought this up earlier.
It's
but,
all right. Horrible game, horrible movement.
It's all good. I can talk about it again. I can talk about it again. Hold on.
Please, God, no. No, please.
I mean, Quaggy is giving you the floor on this one, so.
No, we don't need to talk about it again. Please don't.
All right, for Ron's sanity, we will move on to the next one. This comes to us from Kiku, who asks, "What Suikoden game is your favorite, and why is it Suikoden 2? Can we can we light a fire under Konami and get them to release the remaster already? Do y'all actually plan on playing the remaster even when it's released?" So first of all, show of hands here, who's actually played the Suikoden games at all?
I'm a Suikoden guy right here. Right
Cool.
here.
So only Ron has played these games.
Yep.
So Ron, you can answer this question.
Suikoden 2 is the best. All of them are good. Well, 4's gameplay is... The story was decent, though, but 1, 2, 3, 5, all worth it. Koala, you might want to play the Suikoden 1 and 2 remasters when it does come out, since Ayuden Chronicle is pretty much Suikoden. Same guy made it.
Yeah, same creators.
Yeah.
When because at the time they pitched a Suikoden reboot to Konami, and Konami wasn't making games at the time, so they went to Kickstarter, and that's how Ayuden Chronicles became a thing. Yep. So Ayuden Chronicles 100 Heroes is actually meant to be like the spiritual successor to Suikoden.
Mm-hmm. I think you'll enjoy them. And 1 and 2, I guess they teased the remasters. They were supposed to come out at the end of last year, then they got kicked back, and now we don't know when they're coming, but eventually they are going to release.
Yeah. I still think they're coming this year. Like I'm pretty confident they're coming out.
I'm going to buy them.
None of the Suikoden games are coming up on the PlayStation Store
because they're not.
Yeah, it's not on the page yet. It doesn't have a release date.
Yeah.
It's going to be the 1 and 2 remaster though, which are many consider to be the best ones, but 2 is it's great.
Yeah, those games, the Suikoden games, Fulia, just so you know, were mostly PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2. And they were available on the PlayStation 3 if you bought them on the PS Store for $5. So
okay.
But yeah, there is a remake of 1 and 2 coming. And those are the games that people really enjoy. And in fact, I'm excited to play them for the first time because I have played a lot of role-playing games.
I'm a bit surprised that you hadn't. I was shocked by that, to be honest.
Well, I mean, have you seen physical copies of Suikoden 2? How much they go for?
Yeah, they're quite expensive.
I mean, they go for like $500.
Yep.
So I'm like, yeah,
quite expensive.
But obviously, I could have played them on PlayStation 3, but I don't know. That's one of those games where like I bought those games digitally on PlayStation 3 and just never got around to playing them. So I think the remaster is like the perfect way too.
Yep, Kiku was right. 2 and 3 are the best. Yeah. Indeed.
Kiku, of course, very disappointed in us for not playing them. Also, Skycatcher Gaming says, shout out to Growlancer Heritage of War, if it wasn't mentioned earlier on the PlayStation 2. That's one I do want to get to eventually as well.
I remember the Growlancer series, but I never played them, though.
Yeah. I talked about it, Growlancer about a month ago with Generations, like the one that came out before Heritage of War, but I haven't played Heritage of War yet. But the Growlancer games, I think, are pretty good. So it's on the list to play at some point. And then that's it for the favorite RPGs. But now we got to move on to 2 final questions kind of out the show. And these are just, normal questions. We're going to start with a question from Bowza, which, of course, apologies to Bowza. This question came in last week, but we just didn't catch it in time for the show. I think game demos are wonderful. I've bought several of them that I wasn't sure about before playing the demo. But Bowza's question is, now that Jim Ryan is gone, what is one thing you would change about PlayStation moving forward if we ran PlayStation? See what I did there? That's a reference. If we ran PlayStation, what would we do? What would we change to make things better? I'll give you all some time to think about it because the one that comes to mind from me is something they're already doing. but just making sure that the company remains committed to getting the heck away from doing live service games and just focusing on, core like single player games, like the things that they're really good at, or even bringing, like, if they want to do a multiplayer experience, then just do a multiplayer experience. Something like Helldivers 2, I think, is a perfect example of the type of thing that they can do. Just make them, separate from each other. Like, Naughty Dog shouldn't be worrying about updating, The Last of Us multiplayer for 10 to 15 years because it's a live service game and it needs to continue to make money. They should be doing what they should do best. And really, I think the studio should be working on what they want to work on. And, if some of them want to work on live service games, then they should be given the opportunity to do that as well. But like, when I think of PlayStation first party, I just really think of, top quality single player or multiplayer experiences. And I feel like with the announcements of, Concord and some of the like I think it's Payday or no, not Payday. Like these other games, these other live services games, I'm just like, I just kind of want them to go back to older Sony. So that's my pick, but we'll go around the horn here counterclockwise. Fulia, if you ran PlayStation, what would be the one thing you'd change?
So I would love to see PlayStation highlight more indie games. I mean, they're only somewhat sort of giving them a bit of a spotlight here and there, but I would love to see more of them being highlighted, kind of like what Nintendo does, where they have their little, their indie showcase like every so often. I'd love to see PlayStation do something similar to that, where they showcase some of the indie games that are coming to PlayStation, so that, that people are aware of it. Because half the time we don't know. Most of the time we know that they're going to be on PC, like 90%, 99% of the time they're going to be on PC. And then, the other times, most of the time it gets highlighted in a Nintendo showcase, like during their indie playhouse. But we don't really know whether it's coming to PlayStation or Xbox. They only get sort of chucked in on like a social media marketing post or something like that. So I'd love to see them highlight and do more of a showcase on indie games. That'd be really cool. The one other thing I will mention, speaking of marketing, stop the blog post, damn it.
Yeah. Yep.
If you're going to be announcing something big, make a video about it, please.
I don't know if you knew this, Fulia, but you can take a video and embed it in a blog post. Just saying.
You know what she means, right?
I know. No, exactly. It's almost like she's correct, is what I'm trying to say. Like, you can do both. It's okay.
You can do both. You can do
Yeah,
both.
yeah.
Here's a blog.
If you can do a blog post, and that's fine. But like, announce them if it's gonna be something big. Announce it in a video format, even if it is for just a couple of minutes.
Yeah,
They want to take it back to 1986, Koala. Everybody loves reading words.
No,
It's fine.
I have a hard time reading things in general. You're really gonna think I'm gonna go out of my way to read a blog post?
Well, if you would stop space traveling all the time.
Look, my brain does what it does. Okay, don't do that. It's a koala brain, so shush.
Jesus. Well,
Happens to all of us, Ron. Happens to all of us.
I feel like I've touched a nerve here talking about PlayStation blog. But you're
I got
right.
triggered
Like,
by that blog post thing. She went off on that.
no, because like
Nobody likes the
that's
blog post.
but that's
She's
what
right.
Xbox does though. Where Xbox will have like a short video that they'll link in the Xbox wire. So like when there's an announcement there. So I think like you're onto something there where it's like you do both. Like that's the way they should be doing it. Because not just having a blog post. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to be fair, they do, to be fair to Sony, they do, showcase indies and stuff during State of Plays. But I agree with you that they should do more than that. Because, like, that's not enough. There are so many more indies on PlayStation than just what they show in State of Plays that there should be.
Exactly.
There's enough room for, multiple indie showcases on PlayStation every year.
They have gotten
100%.
better about trying to showcase them in the store now. Back in the day, you had to kind of dig in the store to find the indies. They're doing a better job about having them in the front page or having a tab saying, indie sale or whatever. So I'll give them points for that. But overall, Koala's right. They got to do better.
Yeah. I mean, I have seen a lot of advertisement on the store for three-legged race simulator.
Yeah.
What is that?
The demo keeps popping up on my end. I'm like, what the heck? Who wants a simulator for?
Is that a cheap
It's
platinum game?
Potato sack simulator.
Potato sack
sack
simulator.
racing simulator.
Yeah. It's like an FMV game. and it looks ridiculous.
Oh boy.
Of course it is.
Between that and this other game
Dab
that I
Man.
saw, which was this like dating game that was also like a FMV game, like a full motion video game, I'm just like, there is some interesting
FMVs are coming back. What's going on here?
Look,
1996 is coming back.
Yeah,
1996 is
the
coming
all
back.
over
Sega
it.
CD was ahead of its time. Night Trap
Yep.
was the
Sewer
the
sharks.
example.
Let's go.
Plumbers don't wear ties. You know, all the classics. All the classics.
Wow.
Yeah. Next thing you know, we're all going to be talking about, how much we enjoyed playing Corpse Killer 2 and, Double Switch 2. Oh my God, it's going to be so great, you guys. But, Matt, if you ran PlayStation, like that show, if we ran Nintendo, what would you change?
I'm just going to quote Donnie Reese from PSVG. Just make good video games. Just keep it simple. Like, looking back at the PS5 launch with Jim Ryan, there's a lot of successes. I don't want to, negate the things that he's done, but a part of it does feel like he wasn't leading the company for the sake of creating good art for video games. Like, I mean, when you look at Miles Morales, Forbidden West, Ragnarok, why are they cross-gen? For the sake of art to push the limits of the PS5? No, because, he doesn't believe in generations and he didn't want to leave the player base behind. I get it. It's a company. It's for, fiscal, investments and motivations. But at the same time, like video games are a beautiful art form. And I wish that we would just go back to different times, like with under Sean Layden, where like he believed in certain video games and let people create the art form and let them try and let it show through. Like, and that's what I want to see from PlayStation in the next few years. Because, I'm glad they took a risk with PSVR 2, but where are the games for PSVR 2? And again, it costs a lot of money, it's a lot of risk, but I'm sure there are developers who, if they had the right support for it, they could make, beautiful experiences, but it doesn't seem like Sony's backing that, right? And then again, they're chasing the money. That's why they invested in all the live services games that got canceled, unfortunately. But again, it wasn't for the sake, like, it's like what Ryan said, like if there's a multiplayer game that that the developers are dedicated for it, they're making it for because this is what they want to make, then it's gonna be a banger, just like Helldivers 2. But when you're chasing it for the sake of, well, this is the newest trend, you can already see what's happening with many other live service games. And I'm glad Sony's pivoting, but I do want to see it return. Just make some good video games, give the developers the support that they need. Like, let's get more games like Concrete Genie, Astrobot. Like, we need more games like that because I know it's
Oh, we lost him.
We lost Matt, everybody.
Jim Ryan said, "Stop this right now."
Jim Ryan's just like, no, we can't
Jim Ryan killed
have
the
any
thief.
more than this.
You're back, Matt. Jim heard you.
I'm
Jim
back.
heard you, and he got mad.
No, we just want good video games, people. Please, that's all we want.
Yeah. Amen, brother. Amen. Yeah. That's my thoughts exactly. Ron, how about you, man?
Everybody's brought up good points. I agree with every single one of them. The only thing I would add to that is a roadmap of some kind of just telling us what people are working on. I'm not talking about games coming 5 years out, 4 years out. I don't want that. But to know what's coming this year, next year, it would be nice. You have all these first-party studios, and in my opinion, are the best first-party studios, and nobody knows what's coming. Insomniac is the only one who's been doing the heavy lifting this whole generation. They have lifted the PlayStation 5 pretty much on their shoulders and carried it the whole time. That doesn't make any sense when you have so many talented first-party studios. It's ridiculous. So just gotta sit there and say what we're working on. Hey, this is the reason why you need to buy a PS5. Look what we got coming next year. This is this, and this. Even if you don't tell us what it is exactly, just say that something's cooking. Give us some kind of hope. I mean, even with the PS3 having the slow start it did, at least Sony still was communicating like, hey, this is what we're doing, this is what's coming, showing trailers for stuff, still have people excited. The PS3 has this heavy price tag, but trust me, it's going to be worth it. Right now, people who own PS5s is pretty much, like I said, Insomniac and third party that's been holding it up. That's the main reason why I hope that Xbox stays in the game. I don't want Sony to get lazy. If they're acting like this already with Microsoft kind of slow in the race, I can't imagine Microsoft leaving. What's the market going to look like then? So just give us a roadmap. Stick to letting the first parties make the kind of games that they want to make. Support them. If something's not working, whether it's the live service, whether it's the PSVR 2 or whatever, sometimes you got to cut your losses. Apparently, some things just aren't going to work for you. Some things aren't meant for consoles. They got to stop trying to chase that dollar and go for what works. So,
well said, Ron. Yeah, I mean, yeah, especially like, will Naughty Dog even have a game this console generation at this point? Because like, if the PS6 is coming out in 2027, like, are they going to have a game that's not a remaster of Last of Us Part 1 or
and
Part
you're right.
2?
I mean, they've been spending so much time with the multiplayer thing and remastering games that really did remaster. So like you said, I guess their next game is going to be a PS6 one at this point.
Yeah, which would be crazy to think about because we had, how many games from Naughty Dog last generation or even during the PS3 generation. It's just
they killed it. I mean, the whole Uncharted series pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even some of the other studios too, like, Sucker Punch. Or
what's Bluepoint working on? There's been so many rumors with Bluepoint, and from Bloodborne remakes to doing their own IP, but Bluepoint's been quiet. Sony hasn't said anything, so it's like, what are we doing?
Yeah. Oh my God, Seth! They'll re-release both games as the one experience version
Seth,
next.
You know what? I wouldn't
Seth,
put it past them.
thank you.
I wouldn't put it past them. I don't know what Naughty Dog is doing. They're perfectly fine with just remaking games that are 2 years old.
It's
They'll
fine,
do it.
fully.
They'll
The
do
show's
it.
almost over.
And Matt will
Goodness.
buy them again and encourage them to continue doing this.
Part of the problem. I know
You
that.
are.
They
You're
know
part
it.
of the problem.
And they know it.
Good God.
You're right, Koala. Far out.
Far out, man. Far out. All right. Last question of the week comes to us from one Matt Sawinski, who asks us the question: marry, intercourse, kill, PS1, PS2, PS4. I would kill the PlayStation 4. I like the
Ryan.
PlayStation 4 a lot, but the PlayStation 4 doesn't have PlayStation 1 or PlayStation 2 games on it. So I would of course marry the PlayStation 2 and then intercourse the PlayStation 1. It's fine. But what do you guys think about this interesting question from Matt? I've already seen the look on Fulia's face, which is why I'm going to her first.
Cool.
Look, I'm getting you out of the way.
Okay.
Making it quick. Rip the Band-Aid off, Fulia.
I probably would kill PS2 just because I didn't really have much of an experience with it.
Kill it, Fulia. Do it.
I would, it's of course PS4, but I would marry the PS1 because PS1 was what got me into PlayStation. So
The Anna K. The Anna K.
yeah, exactly.
I marry her too.
Yeah.
No, not her specifically.
Oh, yes. The PlayStation one. Yes.
Respectfully, of course.
Of course.
Seth agreeing with me as well, killing the PlayStation 4. That's interesting. It's interesting. Matt, what do
Wow.
you think?
I can't believe everyone's killing the PS4. That's the one I'm marrying. All right.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Like Resident Evil 2 remake, Final Fantasy 7 remake, The Last of Us Part 2, Nier Automata, You Replicate. Like, come on. Like,
But Resident Evil 2 exists on the PlayStation 1.
it does, but the remake is the one full experience was on the PlayStation 4 with the remake.
I'm
I
about to get
would
muted in a second here, Matt. Just keep going.
I would kill the PS2 just because I didn't own one, so there's no attachment, and then intercourse the PS1. That's
you
what
go.
I would do.
Nice. At least we're agreeing on that. At least we got a common point there. Ron, what do you think?
I'm going to marry the PS4. I have more games in that library than my PlayStation 1 or PlayStation 2, so that was automatic for me. I'd intercourse PS2 because, once again, I had more games for that one than I did with my PS1, and unfortunately, I would have to kill off the PS1 as much as it hurts me to do it. But I got to go with the amount of games in the library, and PS1 had the least amount to me.
Or you know what? The argument is, Ron. The PlayStation 2 can play all the PS1 games without issue because it literally
could.
has the PS1 hardware built into it.
Yeah. So I guess it works out. Since I'm intercoursing the PS2, I'll keep her as a side piece, and it'll be fine.
I'm just gonna leave this message. Up on here. For audio listeners, Kiku says, "You disgust me, Ron."
Oh, Angel, you still love me. Whatever.
You made the right choices, Ron. I got you.
Thank
made
you.
the right
Thank you,
choices.
Matt. Thank you. Little brother always supports me.
Yeah. Once again, of course, Matt coming here with the chaos questions. So, I mean, this is just
Matt.
what I expect now.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
I called him out on Twitter. I said, "I see you want to cause chaos."
Yep, pretty much. Well, anyways, I think that's going to do it for this episode of the PlayStation Drive. But before we drive on out of here, let's thank all of our patrons over at patreon.com/carpool gaming, starting with our ultimate producers, Tony Baker from the Quest 4 Pixels podcast. You can check them out over at youtube.com/quest4 pixels today. That's the number 4, not 4 spelled out. Jonathan Brown, the man behind the music on this show, as well as the Xbox Drive. You can check out his link tree to all of his music, linktr.ee/PME/JIB. Lee Navarro, the fearless leader of the Phoenix Overdrive Extra Life team. Of course, you can check them out over at phoenixoverdrive.com, or maybe join the team, Phoenix Overdrive, over on Extra Life. Maybe we'll see you in New York in November for Extra Life. Please be excited. And Cwagmire, who humbly reminds you that all the best babes are in fact Xenobabes. Shout out to all of our ultimate producers, by the way. The links are found to all their stuff in the show notes for this podcast. Our platinum producers, aka the official tier of the PlayStation Drive, we've got Robby, Bobby Miller, and Smokin Joe. And our gold members, which is the second official tier of the PlayStation Drive. Of course, you can find Adam K, Anna, Awesome Dave 1337, BobLoblaw, Brad Moore, Brian Reese, Cecily Carrozza, CrocoKyle, Dan and Luma, Dannohh, Emily O'Kelly, Yon32, Marcus O'Neill, Peje EP, Tim Aulph, and our newest member, Toxic. So shout out to all of our patrons over at patreon.com/carpoolgaming. If you want to hop in the car with us, head on over there and choose the tier that's right for you. And now, Fuya plugs go.
You can find me on all the platforms at foolishfuji.card.co. That's card with 2 R's. Card. And you'll find me, all the things will be there.
Look, Matt, you love the pirate accent. You think of it every time now. Card.co.
Card.
Far out.
Far out, man.
No, only I can use that.
Anyways, Matt, where can people find you?
You can find me at Nagachaka on the Discord and Twitter.
Excellent.
He's gone.
Yeah. We can also find him over there watching Ahsoka as well. That's also a thing.
Yep.
Ron, where can people find you?
Savoy Prime on PSN, Xbox, Steam, backlogged. Savoy_Prime on Twitter.
Very nice, man. As for me, you can find me on the old Twitter, aka X, at Ryan Turford. You also find us on X at Carpool Gaming, right here at youtube.com/Carpool Gaming. Of course, podcast services around the globe. So, for Fuya, Ron, and Matt, I'm Ryan. This has been the PlayStation Drive, episode 144. Yes, folks, 6 more episodes before 150, and we're out. Good night, everybody.
See ya.
Adios, friends. Thanks for checking out this week's episode of the PlayStation Drive. Now, before you drive off, please make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube and follow us at Carpool Gaming on socials. Don't forget to check out our awesome merch on carpoolgaming.com, and you can also support the show on Patreon at patreon.com/carpoolgaming, where you'll unlock all kinds of exclusive content. Links to everything are in the description.